Hello, my name is Christie Arkovich. We are student loan attorneys. We also do bankruptcy and foreclosure loan modification issues like that in Tampa, Florida. So I want to talk today about those who are receiving student loan payments and they think that the amount that they owe is too high and that maybe their enrollment to save either hasn't happened yet or hasn't happened correctly. So first of all, there was an article out, I think it was with the New York Times today, that talked about those specifically with MOHELA, who is the public service servicer, but they can service other loans too, that they were unfortunately using the 2022 poverty guideline in determining the SAVE payment, and that is incorrect. So if you think your numbers are wrong, here's how you calculate whether they're correct or not. If you Google poverty guidelines 2023, comes right up, and basically for a family of two, you'll see that the 2023 numbers is 19,720. Family of three is 24,860. And family of four is 30,000. Family of five is 35,140. So basically that amount of income does not count for your student loan. Basically that's deemed to be what your expenses are on a nationalized basis. And your student loan payment will be a percentage of anything above that income. So if you just make 19, 24, 30, 35,000, you will not have a student loan payment because that part is excluded. Now, how the payment is calculated after that or on top of that is basically 10% under SAVE of your adjusted gross earnings. So that's not your gross earnings, what you make per year. You can pull that off your tax return. I think line 11 on page 1 of your tax return shows adjusted taxable income. That's the number that you use. So it's 10% of that number. In the future, you can always contribute to 401ks, 403bs, traditional IRAs, health savings account, things like that that will lower your adjusted gross income. You can Google, I'm not a tax person by any means, so talk with your tax professional, Google, try to figure out what other things might qualify to reduce your income. You also can file a separate tax return. So let's say your payment's really high now in the fall because it's based on a joint return. You can't amend and go fix that, but you can certainly file early next year. So maybe consider not making a payment this fall. Either ask for an administrative forbearance, perhaps use the automatic on-ramp procedure where there won't be any debt collection or dings on your credit purported by the Department of Ed. Now, keep in mind, they've not promised that there won't be any dings on your credit. They said that they can't control what credit bureaus do, but credit bureaus get their information from the Department of Ed, from the creditor. So I think it's very unlikely that a credit ding would actually occur. And that, again, is the on-ramp procedure. If you don't make a payment, it automatically applies. There's no catch up. So let's say you don't make a payment until you can file your taxes separately next year, maybe February or so. The on-ramp will automatically consider you current and in forbearance to where you're not having credit dings, no collection activities. You're not getting credit for forgiveness necessarily. It may be possible to get some credit under public service if you're working that, or under the IDR waiver, but not for IDR going forward. So anyway, so these are ways to take a look at your SAVE payment, make sure it's correct, and then don't forget, if the payment is still high, come next July, the portion of loans that you have that are undergrad loans, the payment will drop to 5% of your discretionary earnings. So if 80% of your loans are undergrad and 20% are masters, that means 80% of your payment is going to drop in half next July. And there is oftentimes a benefit to consolidating your loans for convenience, to make them all with one servicer, all one start date for IDRs. If all of this stuff is confusing to you, you're not quite sure what to do, I know that the servicers are there to answer your questions, but unfortunately we've seen quite a disparity with respect to the amount of training given to each individual. You might get a correct answer, you might not get a correct answer. And there is quite a lengthy hold time. So if you can do anything online, that's preferable. The Ombudsman Office may be able to help. An advocate or a student loan attorney like myself may be able to help. If you'd like to set up a strategy session with us, we do that. It lasts about an hour. We set that up by Zoom. Usually we screen share so we can see exactly what you're doing, walk you through things. Also by telephone call if you like. How to schedule that is our office number is 813-258-2808. And you can also email us at info@christiearkovich.com. Hope this has been helpful. And last but not least, if you think your payment has been calculated incorrectly, don't just assume the servicer's right. Unfortunately, they're very underfunded right now, and there is a lot of misinformation and errors out there. So don't believe that that information is right. Double check it. Make sure that you're in safe, that you're looking at the calculations correctly. And Loan Simulator, the loan simulator that's available on studentaid.gov is a good way to look and see. Keep in mind the IDR recount may not have happened yet for your loans, which means that the loan forgiveness and the amount of time that you still have left might not be accurate, but the payment amount should be right. And it may say payment is going to range from 100 to 500. Keep in mind that the loan simulator is assuming that you're entering into that program as of today. And so it's assuming your payment's going to start at 100, but say in 25 years for grad loans, your payment could be as high as 500. It's assuming a regular rate of raises and things like that using an algorithm. So you don't really care about that secondary amount. The IDR hasn't happened yet. The amount of forgiveness is not accurate generally until it happens. That's just a simulator so that you can see if your payment roughly looks correct. And it's great for that purposes. You can kind of play with it. You go up to personal information. You can type in how you file your taxes. You can type in the loan amount and some other things, dependents and whatnot. Anyway, so I hope you all have a good week. Thank you.